Today I will be fixing an iPhone 8 Plus. This iPhone 8 Plus had a heavily cracked screen and a cracked back. I have here a donor iCloud locked phone that I will be using for parts. To get started, I will remove the two pentalobe screws from the bottom of the device. After doing that, I shut down the device and begin to melt the adhesive with a heat gun. Then I can get a metal pry tool in and begin to separate the display from the frame. This process can take a while and you have to be very careful. Then I will use a suction cup to secure the display and begin unscrewing the brackets. Make sure to first unplug the battery before unplugging any connections to ensure that nothing shorts out. Be sure to be careful when prying up the connectors as they are very delicate. After this is done, we can remove the display connectors as well as the front camera connector and lift the display off of the phone. The next step is to take the donor phone and repeat the same process. Remove the pentalobe screws. Turn off the phone. Heat up the display. Separate it from the frame. As you can see, this can take a little while. Just be patient and gently work around all the edges. Be sure to be very careful lifting up the display as not to damage or tear any cables. And finally, disconnect the battery. After that, we begin to remove the logic board of both phones. Start by removing all the screws in the logic board and keeping them neatly organized. It is important not to get them mixed up as it could cause permanent damage. Next, start disconnecting any cables attached to the logic board. This includes the power and volume button cable, the rear camera cable, the flash, and the dock connector cable. Next, remove the Wi-Fi antenna. Finally, remove the SIM card tray. At this point, we are ready to remove the logic board. Be sure to very carefully pry up, and if you feel any resistance, check that everything is unscrewed and unplugged, as this is the main brain of the phone, and it is necessary that it doesn't get damaged. After doing it to one phone, we'll go to the next and repeat the same process. Once again, this process can take a while. Just take your time as you don't want anything to break. After both logic boards are removed, we can set the bad housing to the side and keep the logic board from it. Now we will begin to install the good logic board into the good housing. Make sure that all connections are out of the way and set the logic board carefully into place. I started by connecting the Wi-Fi antenna in the top left-hand corner of the device. Next, I made sure to put all the screws in the right spots in the logic board. After this, I began to push down on all the connections, making sure to leave the battery disconnected. After finishing connecting everything, I finished installing the Wi-Fi antenna. At this step, we are getting close to finishing, and it is now time to clean off the old adhesive and get it ready to be sealed again. This is a somewhat tedious process, and I have found the best way to do this is with some isopropyl alcohol and a spudger. After the long process of getting it off the housing, we move to the screen. It is time to transfer the home button. This step is very important, and it is an absolute necessity to be careful, because if you rip the button, you won't be able to use it, nor will it have Touch ID, and only Apple can replace this. So flipping the screen over and applying some light heat and gently and slowly prying with a metal spudger, Touch ID is able to come off without being damaged. I put it on the new display, and be sure to screw down the 2 screws holding it in place. Now it is finally time to test the phone. I hook up the display connections and the front camera. Make sure to screw down all the brackets, securing them in place. Before completely sealing up the phone, I will give it a test power on, and as you can see here, everything works. Now in the restoration of this iPhone 8 Plus, I didn't install the new waterproofing seal as the battery needs to be replaced, but I didn't have one at the time of making this video, so that will be coming in a future video. And that's it, my iPhone 8 Plus 64GB restoration. This phone went from being a gold iPhone 8 Plus with a heavily damaged front and a cracked back to being a pristine condition silver iPhone 8 Plus. At the end here, I would just like to take a moment and thank Wireless Alliance for their work on Right to Repair. If you have an old broken phone, you can use their turn-in program on the website linked in the description. I would also like to thank iFixit for their amazing guides and tools. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to make more repair videos in the future, so be sure to subscribe. Thanks.